Hello, welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state utilizing tarot to offer insight into these interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. So, how's everybody doing today? Oh my God, we needed this so much. We needed last night so much. So today I'm wearing my blue tsunami shirt, and this doesn't match at all and I don't care. And I've got on my salty shirt. Okay. We were having coffee this morning, and my husband was like, "The coffee tastes really good this morning." I said, "It's full of magateers. That's why it tastes so good." I really did say that. So, yeah. Remember, I'm kind of going through, like, I've been thinking about a lot of the readings I've done, and the ones that I remember. There's a reason I remember readings. It's like because they kind of when I remember something, it's because it's resonating with like whatever is happening in the moment. Okay. So, the blue sun, I heard, I think it was Ben Mycelis said this was like him or Aaron Parnas I'm sure this has been said a lot by a lot of people, that it was a blue tsunami. And remember, whenever I got that, it was about the No Kings, but like this is right on the heels of No Kings. And in meditation, what I got was like they were stacking those sandbags, preparing for like, high tide. And instead, like they turn around and see just this blue wave, this tsunami. And somebody was like, "I think we're going to need more sandbags." Yeah, no shit. And that's what last night was. It started with No Kings, with the largest protest march in American history. And now we have the election last night. And so I've got so many cards out here that I'm like looking up all this. But this right here, the Star card. And remember, I had pulled this out and said, I just really like this card in this deck. And it's the Mythic Tarot deck, by the way. Let me, if you can, it's kind of it was out of print and then they brought it back, but they changed some of the artwork, but it's really the book. You really want the book that goes with these cards. And this is the bigger book, not like the little pamphlet book, because this has rich symbology and mythology in these. So if you like mythology, you'll love these cards. But this is Pandora. And whenever in Mayor Mamdani's acceptance speech at the very beginning, he talked about hope. And let me pull this up. That's what this card is. Okay, we chose hope over despair. And I just thought that was so beautiful, because when he said that, I was like, "Oh my God, that's the Star card in this deck." And that is. So, yeah. And I'm going to talk more about the Star card here in just a bit. The other thing that I want to talk about is the reading that I had come out yesterday. Towards the end, and I even mentioned, I was like, well, that's really weird, because there was like 2 7s and the 2 knights and the 2 10s, and I thought that was really weird. And usually when something happens like that, I should have just paused the video and like taken a moment with it, because now I have come back and I was like, oh my God, it's like so plain right here. And I do want to go through that, and then I kind of want to go through that energy reading that I did for November, for this first week that we're in right now. So, as always, everything I do is for entertainment purposes only. And I just kind of want to go through some insights that I saw, as I said, after the fact. And real quick, this is why I like to kind of go back and revisit some of these readings, because you know what? I miss stuff. And there'll be stuff like after the fact and I go, oh, that's what that meant. And so that's one reason, like I do this to model for you guys, like, yes, I do this. And I think, I would imagine, I mean, the readers I know kind of do this too, where they, like if you journal and then you can go back and go, oh, so that's how that card kind of fit in. So just an FYI, if that's something that, interests you, journaling with the cards and seeing how it plays out, that's one way of like really learning the cards and how they appear in your own life. So just wanted to throw that out there. When this is all said and done, I do have plans of offering classes. I'm putting that out there. So I don't know what that looks like yet, but that's something that I would like to see happen here. So anyway, let's come down. I'll bring you down here and show you this And as I said, these cards came out of that reading that I did yesterday. And it was, I don't even remember the order they came in now, because some of it was like a clarifying. But I had gotten the 2 7s, the 2 Knights, and the 2 10s. And I was like, that's really weird. And then I think originally it was like, people were rejoicing, and battle weary. I knew that came up too. So I just kind of wanted to show you this of the way this was. People had a choice yesterday. We had a choice on, especially those of you that were voting, had choices to make. You had the choice from the Democrats, or you had the choice from the Republicans and the MAGA. And so what I want to do here is I just kind of group these together a little bit differently, and that the resistance is the spirit of our country. And they will never, ever, ever take that away from us, because it is not in the DNA of the American people to be ruled by a little wannabe dictator. It's just not going to happen. And the rejoicing that we're currently doing right now. Okay. So I just thought that was, these two together. And then let me do this on the MAGA side. Karma's a bitch, and boy, did they not get a big old spoonful of that. And then the battle weary. And I pulled this out of my Wiser Tarot, this Nine of Wands also. Look at this. The head is bandaged. You got the swollen ankles and the bruising here, holding on, for dear life, like not even strong enough to hold oneself up. And this should be like life review, looking over lessons, looking over like mistakes that were made. It could even be like what worked, what didn't work. It's really evaluation, but it's after battle weary. It's pretty much about looking at the situation after you've had your ass handed to you. And that's what they did. That's exactly what happened last night. Okay. And so that is the MAGA Republicans right there. And as I said, I really like the card in this deck. So that's why I pulled that one out. And for them, it's like all the lying and the stealing. And I, of course, don't have that pulled out here. But in the Rider-Waite, this has got the circus tents back here. This administration is not to be taken seriously. They're nothing but a damn circus. And the lies, oh my God, the lying and the stealing. Every time Kara Lyon opens her mouth, oh my God, I can't wait for that bitch to go to jail. Anyway, moving on. And then the rash action. The Knight of Swords is someone, I always read this as the rash action, not thinking things through. And it's like doing what you can for yourself without any regards to anybody else. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with this. And they're nothing but a damn burden. This is a burden that is too much for the American people. I know for sure I'm trying to think if it's in some of the decks, this shows, I'm trying to see here. I know it's like this in my Spiral Tarot. I think it's like in the Rider-Waite too, where this heavy load is on the back of the person. And so it's like these policies, these maggot policies are literally on the backs of lower and middle class families. And it's too much of a burden. And that message came out loud and clear last night. Okay, so if you put these like next to each other, we have rejoicing, and we are the spirit of the our country. Here you have karma's a bitch, and they're battle weary because and bruised this morning because of what the shellacking they got last night. Here, people overcame. We will overcome versus their lies and lies, manipulation, stealing, all of that stuff. A message of hope, change for the better. Changes that are irrational. I mean, just think, Elon Musk, whenever he broke into the Treasury Department, the tariffs, it's at the whims of a madman. It's like whatever thought floats through his brain is what they're going to do. And then we are rejoicing. We're happy. The offering the American people something about like taking care of families. That's what this card is. It's the taking care of families card. And their policies are nothing but a burden to the American families. And I was looking at that going, oh my God, that's just so plain and clear right there. Okay, so I'm going to pick these up. And I'm going to get these all mixed up. I know I am. Okay. Now, for the energy for this week, what I got initially was the Ace of Swords was in the very beginning, action, choices that were made, and then the Tower card came up for this first week. And I said, this is going to blow up in their face. And I just meant like whatever it is they're doing this week is going to blow up in their face. And yeah, so yeah, I got my letter about how much my insurance was going to go up. And I called my little maggot representative, and in the office I said, so what's he have to say about this? Well, we don't have a public comment. He doesn't have a public comment. I was like, oh, really? Because you didn't have a problem violating the Hatch Act and having an opinion before, but now that you guys have been caught lying, all of a sudden now you don't have a public statement? How convenient. And I was like, fucking fix this. And so that's how well that phone call went. And so that's what they're getting. They're getting an earful, I have no doubt. And that as I am recording this, it came up just like moments before. Two judges have told Trump, you have to start paying the SNAP benefits. And they were like, okay, well, those will go out in just a couple of hours. Okay, so MAGA, they are purposely starving the American people. Think about that. If that's not that 10 of, I picked up all those cards. If that's not that 10 of wands, I don't know what is. They are purposely starving the American people. For what? And now they realize that, oh, people don't just hate them, they fucking hate them. And that these policies are just not, it is not who we are as Americans. And then I saw the initial arguments with the Supreme Court, and you've got theirs signaling that, these tariffs may be illegal. I'm a little surprised by that. I figured they would give Trump what he wanted. But that's one I will be following that and doing follow-up readings on that. But for this right here, yeah, those, whatever actions they're taking, they're realizing it's blowing up in their face. Okay. This is not who we are. They're talking about, basically Maggot Mike has said, if the Senate passes something, then, I'll consider bringing the House back. I don't see that this week. If at the earliest, what I got in that energy reading it would be the first 2 weeks before anything would happen. And that whenever they come back, she's going to sign that discharge. Adelita Grijalva will have to be sworn in. She's going to sign that discharge petition, and they're going to have a vote. That does not automatically release the files. Everything I found, including commentary by Michael Popak at Legal AF, has said it still has to pass the Senate. It still has to, there's still a process. I've always gotten that it would be a survivor that releases information. It could be information from overseas, and that we're seeing all that happen there in England. So yeah. Everything they're doing is blowing up in their faces, and I think it's wonderful. The other thing that I wanted to go through is this, these cards with, we found our hope. We had that dark night of the soul after the election. I did not want to watch news. I didn't want to hear it. Nothing. And it wasn't until Elon Musk broke in. And so, whatever, we all have come to this moment. We have all come, to this collective, with something that gave us hope. Okay. And there's the Star card. And I'm going to pull you guys down here so you guys can see this a lot better. So we had the dark night of the soul, and we've all come together in this collective, however we got here, and we're all gathering our hope together. And did we not see this last night? It was our light that was shining so bright that it was breaking down those things that no longer serve us. And that Project 2025 will never serve the American people. And we will never have that. Okay? We're just never going to have it. Okay? And so just think of that, like our hope, gathered together in the millions is what is bringing down this administration. We are going to save ourselves. Okay. Now, I was curious because it was like, okay, well, like I just kind of wanted to know like the progression of cards after this. You guys, this is so wild. Okay. This is why I love tarot for a variety of reasons, and then to pull in that kind of Jungian tarot, you know, the Jungian symbology and like those archetypes and those cycles and those stories that we see just time and time again. And we're seeing that play out right now with this. Watch this. Okay, so what comes up after? Okay, so we've got the Hermit is like early in the deck, and I just liked pulling this together because this is like, you know, the Dark Night of the Soul, which we've had, and now the Tower is coming crashing down. Get the glare off that. And what we're going to be left with is, you know, our hopes, wishes, and dreams, or the Resistance. This I really am going to start reading this as the Resistance. So in tarot, if you're like, well, what comes up next? Like, what's the next part of this story? Well, the next part of this story is everything I've been getting in the cards. What comes up next is the Moon card. Okay. I'm going to read this in a couple of different ways, but for this right here, the lies have come to light, the Star card. There's going to be judgment. They're going to stand in judgment, and then you get the World card, and it's over. Okay. The other way to read this is about the divine feminine. This is a balance between divine feminine and masculine. And so, you know, finding balance. This is, you know, those cards like bringing those things beneath the surface to light. And that this judgment card, I'm going to read, you know, like with this as well. So passing judgment on the things that don't work for us and letting that go, like letting go of those things that no longer serve us, and passing judgment, like what worked, what didn't work. Think of this kind of as discernment also. But for this administration, I'm going to think of it as Lady Justice and then the World card, something completion. Like you have completed the journey, you have completed this cycle. And then in this, in this administration, yeah, they're going to be judged, and that World card, they're going to be their own undoing. Okay. And we're seeing that. I mean, those Republicans, you know that they've got to be just panicked. And I keep saying that they are panicked, and they are absolutely panicked, and I think that's great for them. So I just wanted to jump on and do a real quick, you know, check in and say, yes, I am excited to. Okay, I didn't do this earlier for a couple of reasons. One, I had previous appointments this morning. Nothing serious. Cat needed to go to the vet for the yearly checkup. And then I kind of wanted the energy to settle a little bit. It is not settled. Everybody is still so happy. And I don't want that energy to settle. That's what we're going to hold on to that. We are absolutely going to hold on to that for the Star card here. Things that I'm going to be looking for and looking at is going to be the health of the Democratic Party, because those institutionalists, you know, those they're realizing that we don't want that. Ezra Klein, you can take those pro-life candidates and shove them up your ass. We are not going to do that. The progressives are going to be what moves this country forward. Okay, and you just look at it. Chuck Schumer can't even have a damn book tour, but look at what AOC and Bernie Sanders are doing. And that's, you know, so in those darkest moments, you know, we still have hope. Just know that when the pendulum swings one way, it's going to swing, you know, equal and opposite reaction just as far the other way. And think about what brought us out of the Dark Ages. It was the Enlightenment. It was the Renaissance. That's what followed the Dark Ages. That is where we're headed. Okay, maybe I don't know if it's going to be quite that drastic, but it's going to feel like it's that drastic. But that's what we have to look forward to. That pendulum is going to swing. We cannot lose hope. Okay, we cannot lose hope. The other thing I'm going to be looking at is the Republican Party. I'm sure they had their coming to Jesus moment, and they see their writing on the wall. And so that's going to be something that I'm going to be watching. Trump's health. I have no doubt that he is going to be working himself up into a health event, you know, whatever that looks like. I mean, he's acting right now. I mean, he woke up with sundowners this morning, those unhinged posts, and then you got him out there, you know, at the breakfast with the senators. So yeah, it's like, does somebody need to check his diaper, give him, a juice bottle, a juice box and a nap. That's what he needs in the memory care unit there. So yeah, I'm going to be looking at that. There's a lot of court cases that the Supreme Court is getting ready to hear. We've started the tariffs have started. We still have the government shutdown. That government shutdown. The Republicans are realizing now. I mean, if they weren't realizing it before, oh, they're realizing it now. Maybe they should do something. Yeah, no shit. What else? The Rockland County next court date is next Tuesday, the November 11th. We've got Representative McIver having her court case. A little bit of movement in Judge Hannah Dugan, but the actual court case doesn't start till mid-December. I still have on my list, these are things I still have on my list, the Zorro Ranch. So Heather, I do have that on my list. There hasn't been a lot of movement on that, so I need to kind of look into that a little bit more. There was a New Mexico lawmaker who announced plans to introduce legislation for an independent investigation. So I'm going to look into see like where that is. The Imperial March reading is coming out. Oh, I've got Usha. I did an update on Usha Vance. You guys, that reading is phenomenal. I mean, what I got from the first reading, that was pretty good. Yeah, so that's kind of some of the things I've got coming up here. Unless something really, really Jack Smith, that was the other one. I'm going to be looking into Jack Smith. Is he going to be, publicly testify? I don't think Congress wants him to publicly testify. So yeah, I've got my list here of things I'm going to be looking at. I think I'm going to take this weekend off. I don't think I'm going to have anything posted on Saturday and Sunday. Now, if something like big happens, I absolutely will. But yeah, I think I'm going to just kind of let things settle, and I will, start with new readings on Monday. So I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. I just wanted to hop on and say hi to everyone, and that, yeah, I'm just as excited. We didn't have anything, monumental really happen here in Missouri, but yeah, everything. I'm so excited for you guys that in, let's see, Virginia and New Jersey and New York City and California, you all understood the assignment. I had been joking with my husband saying, okay, when do the California polls close? And I bet you they're going to announce that, like, polls closed and it passed. And if that's not what I mean, I kind of thought they might give it 5 minutes. No, they didn't. They just called it right away. So I thought that was great. So today we're going to bask in the star card. We're going to let this fuel our light to keep shining. We're going to keep this momentum going. We are not going to let up we're not going to be stopped. We're just not. So thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I've got readings coming out. What's today? Wednesday. I've got readings coming out Thursday and Friday, and then we'll take the weekend off, and we'll have a new batch of readings coming out starting Monday. So I appreciate you being here. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a wonderful day.